Jodie Turner-Smith, who played Mother Anastasia in The Acolyte, which has now been canceled, recently was named one of Glamour's Women of the Year for her trailblazing on-screen performances. And they got into the responses to The Acolyte in this interview, of course. And it's headlined, Jodie Turner-Smith, we don't get to fail upward like a lot of white men. That's what we're leading with.
Of course.
Just a dig at white men. You're totally not obsessed with white men. They're obsessed with you. Got it. So in this interview, she basically said she's mad at Disney because they didn't babysit her and Amanda Stenberg and the rest of the cast of The Acolyte throughout this entire hate campaign.
I pointed out when I tweeted about this, I said the Fortune 500 company isn't coming to save you. They're not.
Yeah. And they shouldn't need to confiscate your phone either.
What's funny about it is most of the time what this ends up boiling down to, and we'll get into her actual words and everything, what it usually boils down to is them being like, we need therapists on set and we need Disney to speak up. You're in the privileged class that can afford your own therapist.
True.
You don't need Disney to pay for your therapist.
No, I need to do Dr. Squatch ads.
It would be hilarious for us to be like, look, people, Tim, people are really mean to me in the comments sometimes.
Why haven't you said anything to tell them this is unacceptable?
Why isn't there a therapist waiting just off camera when the show is...
Okay, so here's what she said. The Acolyte was unceremoniously canceled, allegedly due to low ratings, but in the weeks leading up to its finale, the cast faced relentless torrents of racist abuse online from so-called fans who couldn't handle a black actor leading a Star Wars series. It's an infuriating cycle. Actors of color are cast in Star Wars projects and are immediately made vulnerable to vicious bigotry. John Boyega, in particular, has been outspoken about his experience with racism while part of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And I think he said at the time, I'm the only Star Wars actor whose entire experience was defined by his race. So here's what Jodie Turner-Smith had to say. They've got to stop doing this thing where they don't say anything when people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and bullshit. It's just not fair to not say anything. It's really unfair. It would just be nice if the people that have all the money were showing their support and putting their feet down. Say, this is unacceptable. You're not a fan if you do this. Make a really big statement and just see if any money leaves. I bet you it won't, because people of color, and especially black people, make up a very large percentage of buying power. They might find that it's actually more lucrative for them, but everyone's using woke like it's a dirty word.
This lady should absolutely never, ever, ever, ever work anywhere near the marketing department. She's like, you should come out. They've been doing this for years. Disney and all the actors in every Star Wars spinoff will have a 30-second story on Instagram about how they will not accept any racist behavior because two people in the comments somewhere.
Ewan McGregor did this.
That's what I'm saying.
With Reva.
Yeah.
So I guess Ewan McGregor wasn't enough. It has to be Bob Iger who makes the statement. It actually has to be Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse himself.
Oh! Yeah. Racism's bad.
Clap back at the haters.
And she's like, and no money will leave. I guarantee. No, yeah, for one, it will, and also, yeah, the demographic you speak of isn't a ton of buying power. Like it just not in Star Wars maybe. And the issue is she makes the statement. She's like, we don't fail upwards like white dudes. And I'm thinking to myself, every single project from every whatever you would label any woke company or whatever, every project that comes out,
they always fail upwards.
The director or the writer wrote a short that was unpopular in 2014, and then they get a Star Wars movie or show out of nowhere. That's literally the definition of failing upwards. That one lady that did that weird song in the Little Mermaid remake. Yeah. Shakalaka, what's her name?
Who did?
Awkwafina?
Awkwafina. Dude,
she was the only good part of what's it called?
I don't know. She was not the good part of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every time I see her, I'm just like, ugh. And then she's in every movie. She's like Jack Black.
Yeah.
Or think, I remember Nia DaCosta did the Candyman remake that nobody watched and then got a Marvel
Failing
movie.
Upwards. Yeah, but no, this chick just hates white people. I think that's abundantly clear, not just from her dig at white men in general. She admitted in this interview that she moved to America so she could be around more black people.
Thank you, Sylvia, in the chat. Yes, Aquafina was actually mildly palatable in Shang-Chi.
She's not mildly palatable anywhere.
They
ever.
reined her in Shang-Chi.
Like, can you imagine if I said, I'm going to move to Switzerland so I can live around more white people and not have to deal with all these black people in America? Can you believe the response that kind of comment would get? This chick just hates white people, clearly, but she's hopeful that things are going to change. She said, we're going to get there at some point, to that place where people stop having a stick up their arse, she's British, about people of color being a part of IPs that were created by white people. You know why? Because we're never going to effing stop participating. Being a person of color in the public eye is unforgiving, and actors like Jodie are attacked just for existing. And when ratings aren't as explosive as once hoped, the blame falls on them. Quote, we don't get to fail upwards like a lot of white men. I just feel that some people are allowed to grow and others have to be perfect. And if they're not perfect, people want to tear it apart.
Why do you act so surprised when you say to the audience you hate them over and over, and then they're like, I don't really want to watch this stuff anymore. They're like, oh, you're just being racist. You're angry because we're involved. It's like, no, we're angry, and we're just kind of done because we've been shouted down so much. I don't watch it because I'm tired of getting preached to. You will think it's not going to happen, and then it's like 5 minutes left in the film, and then here it comes. And I'm like, dude, I'm not worried about it. I'll watch Top Gun Maverick for the 9th time.
Yep. We got a 20 from Cesario JPN. Saw your tweet, Camelot, about District 9. We get Fast and the Furious 4,769 because of the Latino market. Craig Lieberman, a former technical advisor on the films, has a video on YouTube why Fast and Furious went from street racing to action slop.
First of all, I will not accept this Fast and the Furious slander on this podcast.
You're passionate about it?
I do want to look. District 9 has been sitting in my queue for like ages.
No, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's from what I've been told. But there's a funny idea. There's a franchise that's full of diversity. Nobody complains about that.
No.
But they did at one point announce a women's Fast and the Furious movie, and you better believe people were like,
Fast and Furious and female.
Yes. And you know why? Because it's inauthentic. And it's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's try hard.
But the idea that like Amanda Stenberg got torn apart publicly because she wasn't perfect, and not because she made a stupid rap song about how much she can't handle getting mean comments on Twitter, is just like peak delusion.
Yeah, like, that's the issue. Brett brings up a great point. There is so many movies, so many TV shows that are completely drenched in rich diversity. The issue is, the characters are written well, and their point of whatever diversity has no bearing on their character and is not brought up and is not used as their only personality trait.
I do want to point out that Will Smith, who's had bad public, favorability since The Slap, came back with Bad Boys this year, and it made it in the top 10 of the box office, and everybody that I spoke to liked it. They did another Beverly Hills Cop movie this year. Everyone liked it. If they race swapped Axel Foley or they changed Will Smith or Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys, people would be just as weirded out by it.
We have another 20 from Kyle Dixon. Thanks for the feature on Cute of the Day. Take these Frost Bucks as gratitude.
Thank you.
We appreciate your Canadian money.
Your Canadian money. It's just...
Jodie Turner-Smith also tried to help Amanda Stenberg's public image in this, saying that she really cares about the story and the lore. And when she first met Amanda for the show, Amanda gave Jodie Turner-Smith an essay that she wrote about all of the characters, their motivations and inner lives. She said, I've never worked with anybody who has handed me an essay on their character. The Virgo in me was just like, yes, I'm living for this. And
this will just make me
revealed that this joy was short-lived. She put so much care and thought and love into that, and it's disappointing to feel like your studio, Disney, is not having your back in a very public-facing way.
Why does the studio need to have your back?
Why is it
You're
their obligation?
employed to get to go to work, act, and then go home. Do the promotion when they ask you to go promote the movie. It's not their job to... You're an adult.
But it's because corporations need to have ethics.
You're an adult. Like, a full-grown adult. You could go to therapy yourself, or just like...
She's a mother.
Not read it.
Well, to be fair, for the last probably 8 to 10 to 12 years... all these actors or actresses that are in these roles where their entire character arc is about their race or their gender identity or their sexuality, obviously that's shouted down, and they're so used to being protected by everyone around them and the media is starting to get away from that. Yeah. I mean, Toyota announced recently that they're not going to be running any kind of LGBTQ campaigns. And whether you agree or not, or you disagree with that, the issue is these people are so used to being protected. So that's why they're like, why is no one protecting us? And what me and Brett are used to all the time, and Mary a little, but mainly me and Brett, we have to protect ourselves with everything we do in life. Our accountability is 1,000%. Mary's like 99%.
There you go.
You got 1% victim because you're white.
Right.
You're a white girl.
Right. Yeah.
But we are white.
And because I'm a podcaster.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing. Like
most oppressed class.
We go through. Whenever I'm editing videos, you go through and you read some of the comments. Now I don't go through and read the comments, but I catch them on the homepage of the YouTube studio. Just don't read it. Right? Just don't engage with it. And honestly, you make it worse when you engage back with them because it's the internet. They don't actually want to have their opinion changed. They want to troll you. And that's just assuming that these are actual negative comments and not what most of the Acolyte criticism was, which is like, this story makes no sense. The colors look like somebody puked gray everywhere.
It's boring.
And it looks like it was shot at dusk every single moment of every single scene. Which is the majority of the criticisms on top of the weird twerking music video, which you didn't have to make.
Right. She actively made the situation like astronomically worse.
Like when
than
people
it needed to be.
When people criticize like me or the show, I just go, that's your right. Okay.
It's like not
wrong
even
then.
our place or anyone's place to tell them how to feel about the comments. Feel any type of way you want. But it's about how you react.
You cannot control what is done. You can only control how you respond.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. I love seeing like hate comments and stuff. That's like my favorite thing.
You love it?
I love it, dude.
Maybe you're a little bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, I like seeing people try to tear me down. And I think I take pleasure in the fact that it bothers me so little that I enjoy like laughing at, like just reading them and like giggling. I'm like, oh, it's silly.
Look, actresses and actors of different races are succeeding every single day. We talked about Jenna Ortega was dropped into a franchise that wasn't very diverse, Beetlejuice, and was one of the parts of the movie that people liked the most, right? She became Wednesday Addams, and then she went on to do Beetlejuice, and she was in the Scream franchise, another predominantly white franchise that became successful once she joined it. And she even moved on from that. She just left.
Sure,
well, she does a good job.
Yeah, exactly. When you're capable, talented, that's what your legacy will be.
Thank you, guys. Well, I didn't even realize until I read through this interview that Jodie Turner-Smith was the race swapped Anne Boleyn.
Yep.
And she's wondering why people are mad about race swaps.
And that's a whole nother can of worms, the race swapping real life.
Of an actual historical like person, yeah.
They love that, and then to say it's alt history.
We're not gonna stop effing participating, whitey.
All right.
She might as well have ended it like that.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.